Hi, and welcome to April 2021 Patreon rewards video. All right, so this month, I actually have a lot of work that I did. Um, it, it's the last of my Lenten artwork. I have to say that having done this for a month, um, about a month, I actually found it extremely edifying and gratifying, and I really enjoyed myself doing this, which means that I actually don't want to stop. In fact, I'm going to continue doing it. I'm going to go back to doing my comic like I usually do, but any spare chance I get when I do any other artwork besides my comic, I'm going to continue doing this kind of art. I'm not sure where I'm going to post it, because it's kind of in a different vein, in a different mindset, and it's got a different goal than the rest of the stuff that I do. So I may end up having to get a different Instagram. I may have to get a different, start a different website just for this kind of artwork, because it's just very different. My headspace is very different when I do this other work than it is when I do the work that I'm currently doing. Like my comics and all the cartoony stuff that I tend to do. But it's definitely, um, the purpose of the art is, is, um, is much more interesting to me. In fact, I just found that there's a lot of artwork that I kind of don't want to do when it comes to the stuff that I've been doing in the past. That it bugs me that I don't want to do it, because but it's kind of like a direction that I probably ought to go, and it doesn't feel right to me. But then when I was doing this Lenten kind of artwork, it felt right. It felt like this is what I want to kind of be saying and doing. And I've kind of been fighting it the whole time. So I'm just kind of been drawn. I've sort of been drawn to this sort of thing. So I'll talk about it a little bit more. So just to show you what I've done and all the amount of work that I've actually put in. So let's get started before I just go off on this complete different tangent. All right, so this is the final version of the Christ Pontracator drawing. Last month I showed you the underlying drawing for this, just a line work. I showed you how I composed it, what the symbology of all the geometry in it meant. So this time I just thought I'd really quickly talk about the colors, and essentially, like, the colors here, like for example the red means earth. It also means blood, means humanity. So this is why he's wearing red. Blue means heaven. So it's the celestial and the human together. That's why you often see that in paintings of Jesus, he's often wearing red and blue, which is not really what he probably would have been wearing, but it's symbolic. It's symbolic of heaven and earth. It's symbolic of humanity and divinity. The purple here is royal purple, kingship, right? Gold, the gold that surrounds him is the color of Christ. That's gold in iconography means Christ. So that's why a lot of the icons have gold backgrounds and stuff. It just means Jesus. And then the green of this Bible, which by the way, I changed it from the original. I thought it was really boring. The green just means earth. The earth, like living. It just means life. So these are the colors. That's what the colors mean here. I changed the words contra contrapator from English to Greek here. And the reason why I did that was because I went on a Catholic subreddit and I posted this drawing up just to see what the reaction would be. And it was positive except for the contrapator on the bottom. There were a lot of people who read Greek in that subreddit, and they were like, I don't understand what you wrote. It's confusing and it's bizarre, and I don't know what the heck you're doing. And I'm like, why? Why is that? And then it turns out that I was using Greek words as English words, and I mean Greek letters as English words. And so for a Greek person reading what I wrote was bizarre. Like it didn't make any sense because the words didn't match what the Greek was saying, but I was writing in English and with Greek, and so they were like, "This is just confusing. Either pick English only word letters or pick Greek letters and have it in Greek, but don't mix them up because it looks like what I don't know what." So I'm like, "Ooh, that's a e, So I decided to just do it all in Greek because it's more consistent, and I like Greek more. I thought it was much more beautiful, so I chose Greek. So that is the final version of the Christ Pontocrator icon-inspired image. It's not an icon. I'm going to repeat this. This is not an icon. It's inspired by iconography, but it is not an icon. If you know anything about iconography, like real iconographers who do real icons, it's this meditative prayer. It's a visual prayer. It's an active prayer, and it's a visual prayer. And it's physical. It has to be a physical product, outcome, a thing, and there is no artist that does it. Okay, it's the mindset of the iconographer is that the iconographer paints the work, but God is involved in the process too. So God is helping the iconographer create the icon in with physical materials that are very specific, and it's a thing. And this is not it. Okay, like I didn't do any of that. Like I don't. So I'm not going to insult the iconography process by calling this an icon. I'm just. It was just inspired by. These this is some I did some videos where I did some figure drawings, and I'm just giving the figure drawings to my patrons. So I forgot to do it last month, so I'm remedying that. I think I lost the 5-minute drawings for the second video. I don't know where they are. If I find them, I'll also send them as rewards. But these are some of the digital ones. Okay, so I was inspired by some paintings of some biblical paintings, religious. Well, they're biblical paintings of that I saw, and because I was looking for and researching for devotional art. For myself, personally for myself, just because devotional art it's its own thing. So there's religious art, and religious art has subcategories. Some religious art is just meant to be storytelling. It's meant to be just depicting a biblical moment. So just as in like almost like an educational, like here's the visual, like here's the movie, here's the photograph of something that happened in a biblical story. And then there is sacred art, which is meant to be, it's supposed to support the liturgy of the Mass. So sacred art is something that you put in the churches um, to support the liturgy, because the Mass is the most important thing in a Catholic, in the Catholic universe. It's like the, as far as we're concerned, it's the reason why Jesus died on the cross, is to give us the Mass. Um, uh, because it's the whole salvation thing. It's like salvation, and the Mass is part of that process of salvation. It's the continual sacrifice of Christ on the cross every day. So there's that. So that's the sacred art. Sacred art is meant to support the sacrament of the Mass, the liturgy. And then there is, let me see, religious art, and then, devotional. There's devotional art. So devotional art is meant to keep you it's meant to jumpstart your imagination for prayer in union with God. So you're not praying to the image. You're using it as a way to imagine, as a support to your prayer life, like holding a Bible really tight as you pray, that sort of thing. That's what it's meant to be. It's you don't pray to any image. If you see a Catholic in front of an image on their knees, they're not praying to the image. They're using it as a jumping off point for higher, like up above, like a heavenly spiritual thing. So that's devotional imagery. So I was looking for devotional imagery, and I found some artwork that I really liked, and blah blah blah. Okay, but there was a lot of artwork that I found to be extremely beautiful. So I attempted to figure out how I could do something similar, right? And one of the things, like, it's kind of like the Rembrandt kind of a look, right? It's just really chiaroscuro kind of stuff that I really found like very powerful to me, and so I gave it a try. So this is me experimenting. This was like the final painting that I did with all the experimenting, and I am going to come back to this in a second. I'll come back to all of this in a second. So here's one of the experiments. So the reason why I was experimenting was because I wanted to capture that light and dark kind of chiaroscuro kind of thing digitally. So I did a lot of experimentation with brushes, with lighting, with just process. And the thing is, when you're doing experimentations like this, it's an awful, horrible mess of, you end up with a bunch of garbage because it just doesn't work. So I'm gonna show you, like, this was okay, but it just wasn't quite what I wanted. But it was a good experiment. And in this one, you can see that there's a texture. You could to it, and I was using brushes that were a little bit rougher, and it felt more like real oil painting. And it was, I was really out of my depth and out of my control, and I wasn't really, it was really difficult. I'm not sure about that, but it was a good experiment. I'm glad I did it, but it didn't, it wasn't meant to be beautiful. It wasn't meant to be completely finished, but it was meant to be, as, like I said, a test, an experiment. I was just trying to figure these brushes out, figuring out a different way of approaching a painting, a digital painting. So from now on, you're going to see some of my failures and some of my successes. Like this one, it was another experiment with just brushes. I didn't do an underdrawing at all. I just went and started like painting shapes and things like that. And I was using a mannequin head. lit, and it was just, and you can tell that there was like the brushes were different. There, I was just messing with. I just wanted that textured look. I just wanted something that looked kind of rough. This is a very, very ugly piece, but that was the experiment. The experiment was just playing with the brushes and technique and things like that. And same thing here with this one. It was an experiment. I don't know if I did an underdrawing on this one either. It was mostly just an experiment on technique. It was and brushes and seeing what would happen if I did if I approached it a certain way, and what the process would be if I did something. So there was a lot of there's a lot of kind of failures happening here, but I learned a lot from the process. So when it came back to this, I kind of went back a little bit to an earlier process that I did, and then I changed the final brushes on this thing to make it look really rough and ragged, and then I added some color to it, and like I said, it was an experiment. I think that it turned out okay, but like I said, it was just an experimental piece. So that's what this is all about. Okay, so then I did this. Okay, so this is the postcard for this month. This is this month's postcard. Here we go. We have, let's go like this. And by the way, if you notice, it's kind of dark in here. I broke my lamp when I was trying to light this video. I just broke it. If I move the top of the lamp now, it just falls off. And so I can't move it, so I can't light myself very well. I'm going to have to buy a new light just to do these videos, and I should have done it a long time ago instead of breaking my lamp. But it's my drawing lamp. It's just jacked. I just jacked myself. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. I don't know what to do about it. Because like the little knob that turns it up, the whole thing just popped off, and it's broke. Like the plastic is actually broken. It wasn't really well made, but in any case. So here are this is the postcard for this month. So if you notice, it's a little different than what I usually do, and it looks a little. So here's the thing. I was fully intending to do what I usually do with most of my postcards, and just take this to a little bit more a colored finish. And this is after I've done all these kinds of experimentations with the digital paintings. And there's a process that I go through when I do any kind of painting, except those digital paintings didn't have that same process. I used a different process, and it just fell apart. It didn't work. And then I went back to the process that I usually do when I did these paintings, and I decided to just go straight, very much the way that I've been taught. Except for I added, I took a Crow Quill pen with brown ink, and I did the graphic shadow patterns of the drawing I was going to do. And then I outlined all the lines that I was going to do. And then I was going to paint it all. And then I started with my first layer, which is a brown layer, like a brown umber kind of layer. And I had my wife right next to me while I was doing this. And as I finished every step, first the pencil step, then the pen and ink step, I would show it to my wife. She would go, okay. And then I did the brown layer. And then she goes, oh, that turned out really great. And I'm like, I'm not done yet. And then I put in the blue layer, which was meant to just kind of darken everything up a little bit. And then I realized it looks finished. It looks done. Like my wife's reaction was, it's done. And then I looked at it and I'm like, it looks, do I need any more? Does it need any more? What will it add to give it more? So I stopped. I'm like, it's done. Like I at this point, the only thing I can kind of do is ruin it. Like at this point, it it says what it needs to say, and it says it in a really interesting way. It's done. So it's done. Like I stopped. And this was a really good learning moment for me because I'd been struggling with the digital stuff that I just showed you earlier. I've been ignoring what I knew I needed to do. And doing this postcard was, this is it. The rest is just final whatever. Like you know what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is how you approach it. And then if you want brushes and fanciness afterward, you do it at the end. But you do all the things that you know to do first. So it was really good learning moment for me. Okay, and by the way, the person who won this month's postcard is Dan Miller. Dan Miller, congratulations, you won this month's postcard. So thanks for your support. I don't know if you've won before, but congratulations, Dan. You won this month's postcard. All right, so let me continue on with the artwork here. Okay, so like I said, I decided I wanted to do some. I've decided I want to do some devotional art for myself, like as a devotional art for me. So one of the things I want to do is I want to do a Sacred Heart painting, and I want to do a Divine Mercy painting. And right now, there's like 4 Sacred Heart paintings that I saw, and they all have, all but one, I don't like. They have like this baby face Jesus and or Jesus. Well, when I say 4, I mean 4 ones that you see all the time, like the ones that are like. And I didn't like any of the Sacred Heart paintings, so I wanted to do one for myself, and that I could do in a way that is edifying to me. And then there's the Divine Mercy, which again has kind of the same babyface Jesus that I kind of don't like. So I said, okay, first I need, besides the fact that I need to up my painting game and I need to up my draftsmanship, because this is going to be something that needs to be well done. I don't think I've been doing so many cartoony things today that I've been doing so much cartoony stuff that my representational art is not where it needs to be. So I need to practice it way more. So you're going to probably see me doing a lot more observational drawing, a lot of like, I'm going to be copying from master artists and things like that. I'm going to try to level up all my draftsmanship skills and my painting skills in order to be able to do a competent Sacred Heart and Divine Mercy painting. So I decided, but one of the things that I really wanted to do is make sure to get the face of Jesus that didn't bother me. Like a lot of the okay, so here's my goal. My goal is to, because one of the things that I noticed was that some of the Sacred Art, the Sacred Heart and Divine Mercy paintings, even though it's got the babyface Jesus in it, Why it works is that it doesn't actually look like a real human being was the model, right? It's in essence, there's something about the way that they're painted that has something of a Orthodox icon element to it, which in Orthodox iconography, they are not meant to be representative on purpose. They are meant to be symbolic looking, like kind of unearthly, inhuman in a way, because the point is that it's supposed to not, it's depicting something so sacred that it goes beyond reality. That's kind of the idea. So like the Divine Mercy and the Sacred Heart images, in a lot of the devotional art, the kind that work, the ones that really work, have a Jesus that is almost unrealistic. Like, it doesn't seem like that person, that the Jesus being depicted is a real person. It's just meant in my head, when I look at it, I go, this is meant to represent Jesus. It doesn't look like it's a person. It's not meant to be a human being. So I was looking at all this art, and then I saw a bunch of paintings that were obviously a person dressed up in Jesus clothes and then painted, right? Like somebody took a photograph of their friend who kind of, or a model that looked kind of like Jesus, and then or what they think Jesus might have been, and then they just took that and then they painted that guy. And so it just looks like a Jesus cosplayer, and it looks awful. Like it's just like, what? What? Why would you? No, all I can think of is this is a guy who's cosplaying as Jesus. Like I can't like. I can't, as in the devotional moment, like you can't just like, oh, I'm gonna imagine. No, it's like, dude, this who am I supposed? Who is that dude? Like that's the problem. So here is what I mean. See this guy? I did use an actual person. I did exactly the wrong thing. And even though I changed I said, oh, I could do it. I'll just find somebody who kind of looks beautiful, and kind of, and then I'll just change his features and make him more like Jesus. And I ended up with Jesus cosplayer guy. Like no, like no. So so I fell in the same kind of thing. So I'm like, that doesn't work. What am I supposed to do? And turns out that the ones that I thought worked are the ones that are kind of got the right proportions. What are the right proportions? What is it that makes you see this person as not a model? And it turns out that the right the thing that kind of works is the Shroud of Turin based Jesuses, the ones that are kind of based on the shroud image, and somehow those are the ones that work. Those are the ones that make it feel just right, that the proportions are just not like not like a model. So this, like for example, this one is the Shroud of Turin proportions. I deliberately had the Shroud of Turin image, and then I did this off of it, trying to capture the proportions, and it works. See, this kind of, this feels right to me. So I tried it again, 3/4, and it was a complete disaster. Like, this is awful, because I don't think I got the proportions right. I think I missed the proportions, and it's also a lousy painting. So it was both. It's both a lousy painting and the proportions are off, and it just doesn't work. Like, it's a disaster. So, but that's okay. That's the whole point. The whole point is to experiment, to play around, to see what works, what doesn't work. This was a kind of a happy accident, even though it's still kind of a little weird. This kind of feels right, and this doesn't. So that was a learning experience. Here we have this uh, painting here. Oh, I'm missing a painting. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can find. There is a painting that I am missing. Um, and the reason I say I just got reminded that there's a missing painting is because, yeah, here it is. I'm gonna move it in here. Is because of this right here, this one right here. So this I was trying to do like a Jesus kind of looking back kind of thing, and oh my gosh, it turned out so bad. Um, so let me bring that in here. Here it is. Oof, oof. So yeah, it not so good. Not so good. Didn't quite happen. Kind of annoying that it was kind of meh. So yeah. So there is this one, and but that was this was like the first thing I did that led me down doing all these other these other paintings here. Okay, and then this I did when I went out to eat at a restaurant. I was just kind of doodling the people around. They're ugly. I don't like them. Um, I realized that there's a type of sketching that I want to be able to do of people, and I am not doing it. So I'm going to have to learn to sketch in a way that I find pleasing, because right now the stuff that comes out of me looks like garbage, and I don't like it, and I'm going to have to go and practice sketching people, so that I am happy with the sketches that I do, even if they're rough or scribbly or whatever. And here's another sketch that I did here of a potential painting, but I'm not ready for it yet. It's been a very humbling month as far as my skill level, and lots and lots of failure. And again, here more Jesus cosplay. This is I again, this is me learning the lesson of not using actual human beings to model Jesus drawings off of. Sorry about that. Um, it doesn't work. Shroud of Turin proportions only, please. Otherwise, you end up with Jesus cosplayer drawings that are just not good. And then I already spoke about these. And then these last two drawings are for the figure drawing videos that I did. These are the 5 minutes. And that's this month's rewards. That's the story behind them all. It's kind of it's been a very crazy month, and very enlightening month as far as my artwork. I've been producing a lot, and I've been failing more than anything else, which is great. It means that it's given me a really good direction for where I could take my work. It's given me a goal to strive for because of all the failing. And it's gotten me very excited about learning more about different things. So it's fantastic. Starting this month, I'm going to go back to finishing up that comic that I started uh, 2 months ago. So I'll finish that, and I'm going to just up my figure drawing and different things like that, like just my studies, my paintings, and things like that. Maybe I'll be able to record some of that to show you what I've been doing. And I'm going to be experimenting a little bit more with this kind of thing too, and so it'll be an interesting couple of months for me, just because I'm in a headspace that is very into wanting to up my game again, and I'm excited about what may happen, and just stay tuned to watch all the failure, because it's all going to be failing. That because I'm going to be doing a lot of learning. So okay, so thanks a lot. Thank you for your support. I couldn't do it without you, and I will talk to you next time. All right, bye.